Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Good question. Hi guys, my name's Connor if you're new. The link to the original video from Johnny Johnson, great name, top the description. Jesus Christ. Below that link to the Discord, love to have you. Why was the line formation used? My only guess is to avoid like a whole, like, maybe 1 or 2 men will get wiped out by a cannonball rather than like 10, you know? So I just had a really morbid curiosity thought. How many ooh, there's a new great armchair historian video coming up. Stick on target, on topic. Jesus Christ. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, my morbid thought. How many people would it take to stop a cannonball? Okay. Probably a lot.
The line formation, a recent evolution in the history of formation fighting. Formation fighting in warfare has existed for thousands of years and has always been more important than superior numbers in battle.
Great movie.
The universal principle of formation fighting has been to maximize force, be it spears or firearms, that can be brought on an enemy at once. There is no better example of this than Frank Miller's 300, exaggerating the events at Thermopylae, where the outnumbered Greeks, using their phalanx formation, brutalized the Persian army. The invention of gunpowder altered formation fighting slowly. The formation shown here in Elatriste is a pike and shot formation. This is the Battle of Rocroi, during the 30 Years' War between Spain and France.
I was going to ask what conflict it is.
Matchlock muskets are being used, along with pikes, as muskets are not yet effective enough to be relied on alone.
What the heck? There's a 30 Years' War movie with Viggo Mortensen, and I haven't known about it.
And supplemented traditional pike tactics, as muskets are not yet effective enough to be relied on alone, and supplemented traditional pike tactics. As muskets improved, the ratio of muskets to pikes increased, until bayonets...
Whoa, I didn't hear that, guys.
Muskets are not yet effective enough to be relied on alone, and supplemented traditional pike tactics. As muskets improved, the ratio of muskets to pikes increased, until bayonets made pikes virtually obsolete.
Now you have
As muskets and rifles improved, so did the value of the line formation. Columns and squares of men formed into lines to maximize the number of infantry who can see and therefore shoot all at once. Thinner lines also kept men from shooting from deep within the rear of a formation, risking those in front of them.
Friendly fire. So that makes complete sense that it's better to have, like, there are so many pros and not many cons I can think of. So my first thought hasn't even been mentioned. I'm not sure if it will, of one cannonball can no longer take like rows of men. Maybe that's not, but the fact that all of your men can fire at once and not be wasted in the back line waiting to fight and maybe being taken out before they can even shoot. So yeah, it makes sense.
En masse, or volley fire, was the primary purpose of the line formation. Muskets simply were not accurate enough to be effective on their own during a large-scale battle. However, volley firing a line of muskets at the same elevation and the same target created a saturation effect, guaranteeing some of the shots hitting the enemy. Men were also forced to stay standing during this process, as reloading required use of gravity to pour gunpowder down the barrel.
Steady now, dogs. Fight. Pour.
No, it's one.
Tap. Do it again, Dubs.
Firing all at once also helped to drop large sections of an opposing force, which could break a formation and cause a rout. Line formation warfare was often a giant game of chicken to see which side would flee first. Due to lines often breaking and fleeing before being wiped out, line warfare was often less deadly than sometimes portrayed on film. Lines benefited from a decreased vulnerability to cannon fire. Solid cannonballs bounce, and the thinner a line, the less damage it can do bouncing through it.
The one thing, okay, so it is at least a factor. Thank you. Or why am I saying thank you?
There's a good example of this bouncing effect in Mel Gibson's Patriot. In the American Civil War film Glory, you can see how the human body does little to stop an iron cannonball. This scene was inspired directly from a Civil War diary.
Don't think that guy lived.
Lines had strengths and weaknesses against cavalry. A solid line of men could repulse a cavalry charge with volley fire, or using bayonets introduced in the mid-17th century. Well-trained infantry could form an infantry square to counter cavalry, which often tried to flank line formations. There's no better cinematic example of a square formation than Waterloo from 1970. Cavalry squares required significant training to execute, and great discipline by the men who needed to reserve their volley fire for targets at approximately 30 meters. If a square fired too soon, the cavalry would charge during reloading. If the square fired too late, they may hit their target, but the horses may still have enough energy to crash and break through the lines.
Bad. This is in 1970, all right? These are all real people. So cool.
Line formations were a type of organized chaos, sometimes done justice on film. Often these lines...
Sorry, he got rid of the buff. Sorry. I think that would have an effect on me. Like if the noise, just knowing that like, oh god, the noise guy's dead. Like I feel like that would definitely have a little effect on my brain. Buff loss.
Line formations were a type of organized chaos, sometimes done justice on film. Often these lines were thick with smoke from gunpowder. The line could actually be the safest place during the confusion of a battle, because if you couldn't see, at least you knew who was on your right and left shoulder. Staying in line was also the only hope against surviving a cavalry charge.
I'm curious if there are any like bad thing, any cons, disadvantages, or if it's just all advantage to aligned
Line
formation.
tactics did evolve slowly, to include fire in advance or withdraw, and 2 or 3 line volley fire, as most classically shown in Zulu. Technology around the time of the American Civil War created weakness in the line formation. Riflemen during the Civil War using accurate ammunition, such as the mini-ball, could pick off men in line formations outside of volley fire range. However, it would not be until World War I that line tactics were completely obsolete, with the proliferation. Technology around the time of the American Civil War created weakness in the line formation. Riflemen during the Civil War using accurate ammunition, such as the mini-ball, could pick off men in line formations outside of volley fire range. However, it would not be until World War I that line tactics were completely obsolete, with the proliferation of barbed wire and automatic fire, creating a new horror in military tactics.
Listen, our guns have stopped. You don't think...
Maybe the war's over.
Thank God it didn't go longer. I'm in the middle of watching those.
All right, I'm Johnny. Thanks for watching this brief overview on the line formation. And remember, the French can fire 3 rounds a minute, so keep practicing.
Thanks, Boromir. Yeah, really cool. I just, definitely a video I picked myself. I wanted to learn about. Oh my God, Epic History TV has a video. I must have seen this one too. Anyways, hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you learned something or can teach me something in the comments. Did I say that? And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.